black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice.
That said, the companies, of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist.
Of great performers, from Sammy Davis Jr. to James Brown to Jackie Wilson, usually are broken, torn, and usually just sad. And the story is very sad in the end, because the companies take advantage of them.
Big deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you.
Diddy, the same guy who's been at the top of the music industry for decades, has been exposed big time. We're talking about serious allegations involving human secretive freak-off parties, and stuff that'll make your skin crawl.
These events and incidents occurred at parties, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know.
But here's the thing. Diddy, he's just the tip of the iceberg. What he represents goes much deeper, straight into the twisted underbelly of Hollywood, and this isn't new.
To lure young women into situations where he was able to violate them.
Think about R. Kelly or Bill Cosby, frontmen for something darker, way more sinister. Behind them, a line of power players like Clive Davis, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the list goes on.
Newly released court documents relating to the Jeffrey Epstein. They include associates, friends, and alleged victims of the disgraced billionaire who died in jail 5 years ago.
Every now and then, another big name gets caught up in these webs of abuse, manipulation, and control. And let's be real, it's all interconnected. So let's dive into it. Here's where everything gets even crazier. Michael Jackson and Prince. Yeah, the two biggest musical legends of all time. They knew about this. They tried to expose it for years.
Companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
If I just sell 3 million copies, I got $30 million. Now who has the biggest record deal?
Oh, I see. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right? So Mariah kind of got screwed.
But did they pay the price for speaking out? Did their deaths have something to do with this hidden world?
A lawsuit that we have been covering and following, so much being revealed, you're not going to believe that somehow it is connected to Michael Jackson.
Time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?"
No.
I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil." Right? It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that.
Remember this, that it's no secret that MJ, Diddy, and Clive Davis all had ties. Same bodyguards, same circles, even testimonies during Michael's death investigation.
To get the bag, and I opened it, and he placed the vials in the bag.
Is it really just a coincidence, or was there something more? Something the public wasn't supposed to know? What did Prince and Michael really uncover about Hollywood's darkest secrets, and why does it seem like they were silenced for it? MJ and Prince are absolute legends, no question about it. Their fan bases are huge, and their impact on music is still felt today. But if you talk to a lot of their fans, there's this lingering feeling that something's off about how both of them died. It's like people are still in shock, and even now, their minds are spinning with questions.
Heard the news about Michael Jackson?
No, Michael
Jackson.
He died? Michael Jackson is dead.
Michael Jackson.
Are you being serious?
Contact with him when I was 7 years old, when he had the big afro and he came out, and my mom was like, "Who are you listening to?" She told me turn the music off because he was so different back then.
Michael Jackson passed away in 2009 from what was ruled an accidental overdose of prescription drugs, mainly propofol, which was administered by his personal doctor. But let's dissect it in detail. Some deaths become iconic moments in culture, and when they do, it's common for unusual theories to emerge. Michael Jackson, a celebrity of immense stature, has had his fair share of elaborate conspiracy theories surrounding his death. Questions have arisen about whether he actually passed away on that day and if the events unfolded exactly as reported. Some even speculate on the possibility of foul play, suggesting that the King of Pop might have been intentionally harmed by someone in authority.
Because first of all, Michael told me that they were him. He was afraid. He was afraid for his wife. the people that were involved in his life, the people that were controlling him. This book, Starting Over.
Michael Jackson privately expressed intense fears about certain matters, a sentiment shared by some of his family members. Now let's shift our focus to his family, a legendary dynasty that has left an indelible mark on modern music. From their early Motown success as the Jackson 5 to Janet's groundbreaking achievements and Michael's lasting legacy as the king of pop, their impact is undeniable. However, Michael Jackson still found himself in many serious allegations. Michael Jackson once found himself in a controversial situation, with an official arrest warrant issued for his alleged inappropriate behavior with
It was the most humiliating ordeal of my life. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, so be it.
As Michael Jackson faced the grave allegations and turned himself in just weeks later, his legal situation reached a critical point. He was grappling with serious allegations, experiencing a low point in his life. Despite a tumultuous life frequently unfolding in the public eye, the abrupt passing of Michael Jackson on June 25, 2009 elicited genuine shock. After decades marked by more unsettling tabloid headlines than chart-topping hits, it appeared that the entertainer was poised to redirect his focus to his career. He had committed to a 50-night residency at London's esteemed O2 Arena for a comeback show titled This Is It, promising an extravagant retrospective of his illustrious career. Unbeknownst to Jackson's fans at the time was the extent of his health struggles and the race he and his team faced to ready him for the stage. This involved addressing issues such as insomnia and D-dependency that had developed in his later years, alongside efforts to maintain a healthy diet. The details of his final 24-hour meals, a crucial aspect often mired in misinformation, shed light on the efforts undertaken to ensure his well-being during this critical period.
No, I get the breakfast ready for the children in the morning around 8:30, like that, 9 o'clock. And they're having breakfast and time goes by and...
Tragically, Jackson's journey to reclaim his former glory was hindered by chronic back pain stemming from an onstage accident in 1997. This persistent discomfort led to his dependence on pain medication, impacting his sleep patterns at the time of This Is It. The responsibility for Jackson's health during this critical period was entrusted to Dr. Conrad Murray by the show's promoter, AEG Live. Dr. Murray, in turn, administered prescription D to address the pop star's health challenges.
Of course, the most hidden treasure trove of his life is with me. But I have protected Michael up till now.
Disturbingly, reports indicate that Michael Jackson's final request to Dr. Murray was for some milk. However, this seemingly innocent term concealed a more ominous reality. Untouchable reveals that milk was Jackson's nickname for propofol, a medication to which he had developed a dependency due to chronic pain. Shockingly, Murray administered this substance at 10:40 a.m., marking a tragic turn of events in the life of the iconic performer. In an interview with the Associated Press, Kai Chase recounted the unsettling moment the following morning when she sensed that something was gravely amiss. "I thought maybe Mr. Jackson is sleeping late," Chase said. "I started preparing the lunch, and then I looked at my cell phone and it was noon. About 12:05 or 12:10, Dr. Murray runs down the steps and screams, 'Go get Prince!' He's screaming very loud. I run into the den where the kids are playing. Prince, Jackson's oldest son, runs to meet Dr. Murray, and from that point on, you could feel the energy in the house change. I walked into the hall and I saw the children there. The daughter was crying. I saw paramedics running up the stairs. Around lunchtime, Murray rushed down the stairs, urgently calling for Jackson's son, Prince. The situation escalated when paramedics arrived and hurried to Jackson's room, prompting the family to gather downstairs, where they initiated prayers. Chase, in a surreal turn of events, was asked to leave the house while Jackson was being transported to the hospital. Chase recalls, "We were all praying, 'Help Mr. Jackson B.O.K.' Quote, then everyone was very quiet. After administering propofol to Michael Jackson and leaving him alone, Dr. Conrad Murray returned to discover that the iconic pop star was not breathing. Despite his efforts to resuscitate Jackson, who had experienced respiratory arrest, Murray was unsuccessful in reviving him. But then the doctor was accused of overdosing MJ, and now his death is being connected to Diddy. Diddy's lawsuit has taken a dramatic turn, with Candace Owens stepping forward with startling revelations. According to her, there's a connection between Diddy's legal battle and Michael Jackson's death, a claim that's raising eyebrows and stirring speculation. While it might seem far-fetched at first glance, Owens is adamant about the link, and she's ready to unpack her reasoning. Let's delve into her perspective and how she's weaving this intriguing narrative.
I gotta be honest, I'm kind of terrified. I think this is gonna be the last day that I cover it because we're getting close to something that is very...
Conservative pundit Candace Owens has ignited a storm of controversy with her recent statements, alleging a connection between Diddy's ongoing lawsuit and the tragic demise of pop legend Michael Jackson. Owens made these bold claims on her podcast, where she delved into the intricacies of Diddy's legal troubles and expressed concern over what she sees as a notable lack of media attention. According to Owens, there exists a significant correlation between Diddy's legal challenges and the enigmatic circumstances surrounding Michael Jackson's passing.
That when everything was going on with Michael Jackson, the lawsuits, his death, I thought that we were in full conspiracy theory territory when people were saying that Michael Jackson... I actually know a lot of people.
This case is arguably bigger than the Jeffrey Epstein case, and yet the media is silent on it. Why? Owens questioned her social media followers. Terrifying to consider, but Hollywood and our politicians are being blackmailed into compliance. Additionally, she highlighted the connection between the individual allegedly involved in concealing Diddy's son's role in a shooting incident and Michael Jackson's former head of security, who was present at the time of the pop icon's death. Owens posits that individuals of this nature might resort to drastic measures, including M, to safeguard their interests.
Mr. Fahim Muhammad was also on the scene when Michael Jackson died. So I want to introduce...
Furthermore, during her podcast, Owens outlined 5 pivotal insights gleaned from Diddy's recent lawsuit, positing that its ramifications could surpass even those of the infamous Jeffrey Epstein case. She also took to social media to voice her apprehensions, emphasizing the scant media attention directed towards Diddy's legal entanglements, and hinting at potential implications for influential figures in both politics and Hollywood. The Diddy case is arguably bigger than the Jeffrey Epstein case, and yet the media is virtually silent on it, Owens tweeted along with a link to her podcast. That's because they are implicated. It is dark, but we now know that both politicians and celebrities are being blackmailed. Expanding on her claims, Owens reiterated her stance in the YouTube caption, suggesting that both the media and Hollywood have motives for suppressing coverage of the Combs lawsuits. She perceives a dark agenda at work, one geared towards shielding prominent individuals from public scrutiny and consequences. Despite provoking debate and skepticism, Owens' assertions bring attention to the intricate power dynamics within the entertainment industry and underscore the far-reaching implications of legal controversies involving influential figures.
Else that we learned in the Diddy lawsuit was that the media and the authorities are complicit. So the ring has real power, not imagined power. Again, I am using the word.
That whole situation felt sketchy to many fans, and it didn't help that the doctor involved, Conrad Murray, ended up being convicted of involuntary manslaughter. People still wonder if there was more to the story, like if MJ was really being protected or exploited in his final days. Then you have Prince, who died in 2016 from an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a super strong opioid. He was found in an elevator at his Paisley Park home, and the circumstances around it left people stunned. The circumstances surrounding his death in an elevator were particularly eerie, especially given Prince's known apprehensions about elevators. As depicted in a video from E.T., Prince's friend L.A. Reid discussed the unsettling discovery of Prince's lifeless body in an elevator. According to Reid, Prince had a strange fear of elevators, which makes his passing in one seem even more suspicious.
Bring us down. One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?" No. I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is..."
According to E.T. Louisiana, Reid shared Prince's aversion to elevators. Prince believed elevators were sinister, often referring to them as instruments of the devil. This perspective was encapsulated in his 1984 song, Let's Go Crazy. In the song's lyrics, Prince likened elevators to malevolent forces trying to bring a person down. He sang about the struggle to ascend by pressing a higher floor button, symbolizing his defiance against the negative influence he associated with elevators. He sings, "And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor. If you don't like the world you're living in, take a look around you, at least you got friends. You see, I called my old lady. For a friendly word, she picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor. Is all I heard. Are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh, no, let's go." Reid recounted a conversation he had with Prince about his feelings on elevators. elevators. This discussion left Reed uncomfortable, as it delved into the topic of the devil, something he was uneasy discussing. The news of Prince's lifeless discovery in an elevator on the first floor of Paisley Park, his residence and studio, deeply perturbed Reed, given the context of their previous conversation. Reed recalled, "One time when I was with him privately, he said, 'You know what the elevator is, right?' I said, 'No, what's the elevator?' He said, 'Well, the elevator is the devil.' It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. So for me, it was really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator." This triggered public speculation, as many believe it might connect to him being outspoken against the industry. Prince undeniably stands as one of the most influential musicians in history, with a remarkable career spanning more than 4 decades. His legendary status in the music industry is underscored by the extraordinary achievement of selling over 100 million records worldwide, a distinction attained by only a select few. Prince's global influence is immeasurable, and although he is primarily celebrated for his music, he also made significant forays into the realm of film. Prince's versatility as an artist went beyond just his music. It extended to his image, where he achieved an iconic status by embracing androgyny, challenging traditional gender norms, and breaking free from racial stereotypes. His bands often featured talented female members, and he continuously championed women within the music industry throughout his illustrious career. However, his dedication to women's empowerment also sparked a range of rumors and speculations, which ultimately added to his growing disillusionment with the industry.
Fooled by the internet. On the computer, but don't let the computer get on you.
Some individuals have suggested that Prince may have predicted his own death during his final public appearance at a party held at Paisley Park, shortly after receiving treatment for an overdose and just days before his passing. According to reports, Prince told those in attendance, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." This statement has led to speculation and interpretations that he might have had a foreboding sense of his impending death. However, it's important to note that such interpretations are based on the circumstances surrounding his final days and remain speculative.
Left everything on the stage. He gave us his all. He did around 4 encores.
And he was dead after some time. Music legend Prince died after taking what he thought was Vicodin but was actually a counterfeit painkiller that was laced with fentanyl, a Minnesota prosecutor said in announcing that he would not be filing criminal charges in Prince's death. In all likelihood, Prince had no idea he was taking a counterfeit pill that could kill him. Carver County Attorney Mark Metz said at a news conference in Chaska. Others around Prince also likely did not know that the pills were counterfeit containing fentanyl. Despite an intensive investigation, there is no reliable evidence showing how Prince obtained the counterfeit Vicodin laced with fentanyl, or who was involved in procuring those pills, Metz said. This has compounded the shock and sorrow of his departure for his fans, still wondering why he died of an opioid overdose and why his multi-million-dollar estate is still such a mess. Contradictions and seeming inconsistencies are part and parcel of Prince's whole story. Nothing is simple or self-evident, says Alex Hahn, a Boston lawyer, Prince fan, and co-author of The Rise of Prince, 1958 to 1988. With someone like Elvis Presley or Kurt Cobain or Amy Winehouse, there is an unambiguous picture of physical or psychological deterioration as part of substance A. Prince died of an overdose, but he doesn't have these other signs in common with them. Moreover, Frank Wheaton, a lawyer who up until last month represented one of Prince's siblings and presumed heirs, one of an army of lawyers involved in the case, says, "There's a lot of mystery, a lot of information behind the curtain. Cat Williams has been stirring the pot when it comes to Prince's death, and it's starting to make people listen." For a long time, a lot of folks brushed off what Cat had to say. He's always been outspoken, but sometimes people didn't take him too seriously. But lately, since some of his bold predictions about industry giants have actually come true, more people are starting to pay attention to him. And now, according to Cat, the next big figure to fall might just be Clive Davis. Clive Davis isn't just any industry executive. He's the guy who's had his hands in the careers of some of the biggest acts ever. For many artists, working with him was the opportunity of a lifetime. But according to Cat, for some, it may have come with a darker side, a side that Prince might have experienced.
It became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself.
Cat Williams has hinted that Prince's career took a turn after dealing with certain people in the industry, and Clive Davis is someone whose name comes up in these discussions. The suggestion is that Prince might have had to navigate some tough situations with powerful figures in the business, and it's left fans wondering if his death was as straightforward as it seemed.
He was a high thinker and a guy that was always 30 steps ahead of whatever the curve was.
It's a heavy theory, and it's got people looking at the music industry with fresh eyes. Cat's words are now carrying weight, and if he's right about Clive Davis being the next domino to fall, it could shine a light on what really happens behind the scenes for some of the biggest stars, especially those who, like Prince, might have faced more than we ever realized. The fact that both MJ and Prince, two incredibly private, powerful, and influential artists, died in such similar ways has sparked a lot of theories. There's this group of fans who can't shake the idea that there might be some kind of connection between the two deaths. Both of them were battling with pain and health issues. Both were prescribed medications that ultimately led to their demise. And in both cases, there was confusion and a sense of things being hidden or downplayed. One person wrote, "Ever since Michael died, Prince went on a downward spiral. I think Prince took his death to heart like he lost a brother. Such an amazing duo. It's a shame that we didn't get a collab tour, but then again, I don't think the world would have been prepared for that kind of presence. RIP to MJ and Prince." Another one added, "The fact that Michael said God might give them to Prince shows that Michael knew Prince was an amazing artist. They sure respected each other. I miss them so much, kings of music." So now, some fans feel like there's more to uncover. Was there something bigger at play? Were these legends taken advantage of because of their fame, power, or the people around them? Fans want answers, and they're still not ready to close the book on these two iconic lives.